there's lots of young women out there who've never seen anything remotely resembling a positive male role model. And it's no bloody wonder that those girls are attracted by the radical leftist insistence that the patriarchy is an oppressive monster. It's interesting, I read Rob Henderson's book. Unfortunately, at the moment, I can't remember its name, but Rob ended up with a PhD in psychology, but he came from the foster care system, and his foster parents were broken family types, and so were the families of all the working class kids that he associated with. And it's perfectly possible now to grow up as a girl and never encounter a man who can commit to anything, not to a job, not to a person, not to his own future, right? The funny thing about the hedonists is that they take advantage of their future selves just as badly as they take advantage of everyone else. And this is the problem with being guided by short-term emotional gratification. It's like a 2-year-old is motivated by short-term gratification, emotional gratification, but you don't see them organizing themselves into effective 2-year-old societies and planning for the future. Like, to plan for the future and to take everyone else into account requires a lot of socialization and maturation, and it requires a model. And these girls that don't have the model of positive masculinity, they assume that men are there to do nothing but take short-term sexual gratification and carry none of the load. It's no bloody wonder they're skeptical of the patriarchy and then avoidant of men. And it's no wonder that they also see any claim of a man to being competent and productive as just a lie to mask his essential proclivity to take advantage and depart. And so it is a cascading spiral of failure. And there's many communities that are caught in that. Now, I'll give you an example of this. It's weird, Matt. So when I go do my lectures, my wife does the introduction and then she does the Q&A. And we didn't exactly plan that. As we've been touring around, I've had different people open for me. Dave Rubin did for a while. My daughter Michaela did for a while. I've had various special guests, Douglas Murray, for example, who've done that. At one point, for the opening, we were just doing some advertising for this essay product that my son is working on and for this Peterson Academy that we've launched, this online university. And Michaela, when she was introducing me, was talking about those ventures. And then she decided to go pursue her own things. And I asked my wife if she would do the intros. And she said yes. And so that's how that came about. And then she did the Q&As. And that sort of branched into her pursuing her own description of my rules and so forth at the beginning of the show. Okay, so sorry for all the detailed background. But one of the things that we found was that people were very pleased to have her on stage with me. And so we were watching YouTube comments, for example, when people were viewing this. And what we came to understand was that a very large proportion of the audience had never seen a man and a woman sit down together, like a married couple, sit down together and actually do something productive and useful and peaceful voluntarily together. So just this example, Matt. So when the audience asks questions for the Q&A, those are submitted electronically, and then Tammy goes through them to see which ones are upvoted, but also to sort of string together a coherent set of questions in a conversation. And so then she asks me the questions, and then she actually listens to the answers actively, and sometimes probes further. And we were stunned to find how much of a relief that was for people just to see that it was possible. And that's so catastrophic because it shows you the depth of misery, I suppose is a good way of thinking about it, that characterize so many people's lives, is that they're relieved to see a display of genuine cooperation between a committed man and woman. That's really sad. It's really sad. So a lot of these girls who are susceptible to the blandishments of the left, it's not surprising in a sense when you look at their autobiographical background.